Hi everyone, hope you are doing well. Today we are going to see the standards on auditing memorizing. We are going to see a story which will help you to memorize all the standard numbers along with what it relates to. So before going with the main part, I have to just make some few announcements. So let's look at that first. Everyone, please note that we have the Accelerate with Yash's batch for the May 22 examination. 100% English comprehensive batch for CA Intermediate Group 1 aspirants starts on 13th October 2021. Your superheroes can build, all they need is the right guidance. Okay, the superheroes can be built, all they need is the right guidance. So we have all the wonderful faculties of Yash's Academy who will be helping you all and guiding you all along the way. We have Mayur Nata sir for accounts, Rajavardhan sir accounts, Ravikant sir for accounting standards, Dhananjay sir for costing, Saurabh sir for tax, and myself, Kartik Iyer, for law. Okay. What do you get on Academy? You get live interactive classes, unlimited recorded lectures, multiple educators for all subjects, doubt solving sessions every week, and practice mock test series. In one subscription, you will get multiple benefits. What are you waiting for? Get your subscription today. All subjects at the price of one, multiple educators for one subject, and in one subscription, you get benefits like attending all the batches, revision classes, fast track batches, test series, and many more. For plus subscription, the charges are 1125 per month for the student, and for the iconic subscription, it is 3188 per month for the student. The CA iconic program is a flagship program for CA intermediate aspirants. Okay. Now, what benefits do you get in that? There is something called a live mentoring program called as LMP, which is coming soon. In that, you will get one-to-one personal coaching, one-to-one doubt solving, evaluated test series, printed books, industry expert sessions, and Discord, that is a community building session. Then you have live classes, weekly test, study materials, unlimited access, and structured courses for the students who are already your plus course students will be always aware about the area which are mentioned below. Then is 1:1 live mentoring in iconic, that is experience personalized learning like never before. Then discuss your doubts, clarify your concept with the professor, get customized study plan from dedicated mentors, and finally articleship guidance to help leave your mark in the professional world. Finally, there is something that is launched, that is evaluated test series, in which after 40% portion there is one test, after 80% portion one more test, and after 100% portion we will have one more test. In this way, what happens is tests are followed by analysis classes and detailed evaluation of answers by subject matter experts. Get personal guidance and feedback from experts basis your performance. Okay. Okay, with that, everyone, let's start with our area in relation to doing the auditing standards. Let's see one by one. How do you remember this? Okay, boys and girls, let's get started. First, please note that whatever we are learning here, whatever we are going to do in this series, 1 second, please wait. Okay, whatever we are going to learn in this series, you have to ensure that you are just simply revising it once, maybe before the exam, you're just looking at it once. You will not be required to do that. But if required, you can just go through it once, and again, everything will be fresh in your mind. Okay. Now let's see one by one how to go about this area. Let's do it with me in a proper manner. Okay. Let's see a nice story in relation to this part. See this. There is this person. Okay. He has a dream of appointing 200 persons. He wants to employ 200 persons. He wants to start a business, and he wants to employ 200 persons. Now there is this room where his friends are waiting. The room, we'll call it as 210 room. Okay, 210. So what happens is this person, he goes and meets his friends. Okay, and he discusses about the new business plan that he has in mind. He has a business plan of starting a fashion outlet which will believe in something called a sustainable fashion, so that with the current times you are well dressed and you are taking care in relation to the environment also. So it will use products that affect the environment to the least. So he has that kind of an idea. So all his friends are very excited. They also agree to this. They say that, okay, very, very well, we can go ahead with this. So what happens is he gets agreement from his friends. His friends agree to the terms. Now he and his friends, what they decide is he again meets them at a time called as 2:20 p.m. He meets them at 2:20 p.m. and discusses everything in relation to how the organization will be run, how the business will be run. So they discuss everything in relation to, okay, what will we do first, second, what will we do, third, what we can do. So everything is planned properly. Quality control is kept in check. All these things they do. That is 220. Now what happens is after that, they maintain a list of 230 areas. They maintain a list of 230 areas. They document 230 areas regarding what they have to take care. For example, it can include how to procure the raw material, how to sell, how to give discounting, how to give discounts. Then maybe in relation to festivals and seasons, how to give what will the policy of the company during that time, what is their CSR policy. So regarding all these things they discuss. So that is, they document 230 areas. Now, as they go through all the documentation, they realize that they have to also comply with the law of the land, that is the country's law. So they saw that they have to comply with some 250 laws in India. That includes the Income Tax Act, GST, in relation to labor laws, which may include Factories Act, Workmen Compensation Act. All these laws, they make a list, and they come to know that they have to comply with 250 laws. But see, these are young people. They are agreeing. They are saying, like, okay, let's do it. Okay, let's do it. We'll conquer every challenge that is on our way. But let's ensure that we are building a big brand. Okay, that is what their main dream is. Now, this boy who has this main business, he goes in the evening, he meets his mother. In a very excited way, he tells his mother, Mother, I have a very nice plan in my head. Okay, I have a very nice plan. I'm going to start a company. I'm going to start a company. It's such a big thing to say. But the mother did not know what is exactly going in his mind. He generally speaks all these things on a random basis. So the mother tells him, hey, you shut up about that, okay? You go and first clean your room. You go and clean your room. So first go and clean your room and then we'll talk. Okay, that is what mother says. Okay, simple story. If I just revise with you once, how did the story flow? Let's go one by one. First, the boy wants to appoint 200 persons, correct? He goes and meets his friends in room number 210 and they they agree the terms. At exactly 2:20, they all meet once again and they decide on how the organization will be run. That is the quality control. And after that, they write everything that they are to follow. Everything that to follow, they write properly. That is, they document how many areas? 230 areas. Then they see, oh my God, how many laws of India do we have to follow? So they see that they have to comply with 250 laws of India. So they are just, ready for the challenge. They say, okay, let's do it. No problem at all. And what happens is this boy, he goes home and tells his mother, Mummy, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start a company. The mother says, you think about all these things, you think later, okay, first go and clean your room. The room is so dirty, Diwali time is coming and, your room is still not clean. So the mother says, first go and clean your room. Now that is the first story, boys and girls. Okay. Now, how do you remember the points in relation to this first story? Okay, let's go one by one. First of all, the boy says he wants to employ 200 persons, correct? So that is your essay 200, that is objectives of audit. What are the objectives of audit? That is covered in essay 200. Okay. Then his friends agree the terms. That is your essay 210, agreeing the terms of the audit engagement. That is your essay 210. Okay. And after that, the boy and his friends agree on something called as quality control. You can see the clock. The clock says 220, and that is exactly the standard name. That is essay 220. Then after that, they document how many areas? 230 areas. So documentation, audit documentation is covered in essay 230. Complying with laws and regulations is covered in essay 250. So that is this area, essay 250. And finally, the boy says, I'm going to start a company, that is communication with TCWG. Remember, mother is those charged with governance in the house. Mother is those charged with governance. So the boy communicates with his mother, that is essay 260. And mother first tells the boy, go first clean your room. Go to the room and clean the room first. Okay. Now that is, the mother is telling, first you clear the deficiencies in internal control. First clean the internal control. First go clean your room and then we'll talk. That is essay 265, as a deficiency in internal control. Very simple. 200 is objective. 210 is agreeing the terms. Then you have 220 quality control, 230 audit documentation, 250 laws and regulations, 260 communication with TCWG, and 265 finally is deficiency in internal control. Very clear, no issues at all regarding this. Very, very smooth going. Okay, no issues at all. That is in relation to this part. Now, let's just quickly revise this. You will see 200 objectives, 210 terms of agreement, 220 quality control, 230 documentation, 240 will be covered later. Wait for that. 250 is laws compliance, 260 is communication to TCWG, and finally, internal control deficiency is 265. And that is our first series which gets over. Okay. Let's go on to series 2 now. Let's see the next story. Now the boy and his friends, they are sitting, see, nicely they're sitting and they're discussing what is to be done, how we have to go about it. They're making all the plans and everything. So this one girl, she tells that I have great plans, and she has made some 300 plans and she gives. But all these 300 plans are, small plans she gives. So the main boy, you can see him on the right, with the tie. Okay. The main boy says that, why are we thinking about 300 small plans? Let's go for a very big plan. Let's go for a good big plan. One plan, but a big plan. So the boy is thinking big. So just think about what, let's think bigger. It means he's going for what? Material things. That is what your 320 is. That is a material thing. That is materiality in audit. Okay, that is 320. So just connect that with materiality. Materiality concept, I've taught you materiality in great depth along with performance materiality concept also. Okay. Now, after this, what will happen is this is 300 and 320. Okay. But now the boy and his friends, they realize that it is not a small task. They have to read a lot about the fashion industry. They are going to go against people who are very, very experienced in the fashion industry. So what they decide to do is they decide to read a lot of books. So they decide to go through some 500 books. Okay. They decide to read some 500 books. Now, when they keep reading the book, they realize that business is a very risky matter. Business is a very risky matter. Now, the risk, whenever there is a risk matter, it has to be tamed. The risk has to be controlled. So the risk always requires a response. So risk always requires to be tamed. If you don't tame the risk, if the risk is not controlled, then it can lead to something called as misstatement. It can become very dangerous. And if misstatement is intentional, if it is unintentional, then it is an error. But if it is an intentional misstatement, then you know what can happen. It can lead to fraud. It can lead to fraud. Very, very clear. Very, very simple. Okay. So what do they learn from the book? They learn that in business, there can be risk. For every risk response has to be given. If risk is not controlled, it can lead to what? Misstatement. And misstatement, if it is intentional, it can lead to fraud. Okay, that is the second part of that is the second series story. Okay, very simple. First, the girl says, I have great plans. You must have guessed this very easily. That is your essay 300. That is audit planning. Correct. The boy says, no. Let's think bigger. Bigger means what? Materiality. That is 320. Materiality. Okay. What is 500? 500, when you go through everything, you will get more knowledge, more evidence. That is nothing but your audit evidence. That is essay 500. After they read 500 books, they come to know about the various risks. So what is the risk? Risk is nothing but essay 315. Identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement through understanding the entity and its environment. 315. Then to the risk, you have to give a proper risk response. That is auditor's response to assessed risk. That is essay 330. If the risk is not controlled, it can lead to what? Misstatement. Misstatement is essay 450. And if the misstatement is intentional, it can lead to fraud. That is essay 240. So the series 2 goes in this way: 300, 320, 500, 315, 330, 450, and 240. Very simple flow, very easy to understand. Let's just revise whatever we have done till now. 200 is objectives, 210 is terms of agreement, 220 quality control, 230 documentation, 240 covered later, we have already covered it later, 250 is loss compliance, and then finally 260 communication with TCLOG, and then your internal control deficiency. Series 2, we start with 300 plan, 320 materiality, 500 evidence, 315 risk, 330 response to risk, 450 misstatements, and what is covered later is 240. That is in relation to fraud. Very clear. Students, we are making 2 parts of this video. Okay. So for the balance standards, you have to watch the second part of this video. Also, I would like to tell you all, if you like whatever you have seen till now, and you want to go to the part 2 before that, please ensure that you're sharing this with your friends. I wish you all the best. See you in part 2. Bye.